everyone. Welcome back to our mindfulness and music lesson. Today we have a very special lesson on emotions. I think I say that every time. Today our lesson is very special, but it's only because I really do feel like all of these topics are so important. So emotions is a very important topic for us to talk about. But before we dive into that, let's start with some mindful breathing. You know what, today I think let's start with our hug breath. Do you remember how we can just hug ourselves and take some mindful breaths? I really think the hug breath is nice because sometimes when we have a really strong emotion, if someone would just give us a hug, it could make us feel a lot better. And sometimes we almost have to hug our emotion to kind of soothe it and calm it down a little bit. So let's give ourselves a hug. It's nice if someone can give you a hug, but even if someone can't give you a hug, you can always give yourself a hug. So let's take our hug breath for 3 nice breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Do you have a little smile on your mouth just thinking about giving yourself a nice hug? Breathing in for 2. Breathing out. And breathing in for 3. And maybe give yourself a squeeze, hug yourself even a little tighter. And breathing out. And then let your arms just relax down. Take a couple more mindful breaths. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. How did it feel to give yourself a hug? I think it feels so nice. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so emotions. It's a big topic. Who has emotions? Does everyone have emotions or just some people? What do you think? If you said everyone has emotions, you're right. Having emotions is part of being human. It's very normal. Everyone has emotions. Emotions, as I told you in one of the other videos, I love to study words. That word comes from the Old French. So words kind of make their way through different languages. They get changed a little bit and they end up in a new language. Sometimes they don't even change. They just end up in a new language in their original form. Anyway, emotion comes from the Old French and it means to create movement, to create energy. Can you tell the word motion is in emotion? And I think that's really insightful because when we have a strong emotion like anger or frustration, don't we want to do something? There's this strong energy, this strong urge to just do something. Often, our strong urge is not the best thing, like to throw something, to hit something, to maybe say something mean. Eek. And then we have to later go back and apologize, right? But emotions do have this energy, and we want to acknowledge that. That's very real. It's right there in the word itself. Another thing we can think about with emotions is, do we choose our emotions? Do we just think, today I'm going to be happy, or today I'm going to be very cranky? Hopefully you know the answer is that we don't really choose our emotions. Our emotions kind of happen. There's like a wave of our emotional life that's just happening. Sometimes some things can affect our emotions. Something really exciting and happy happens, then we generally do feel excited and happy. If something stressful or scary happens, we would feel stressed or scared. So there is a way that life affects our emotions for sure. But we can't ever really control our emotions. Sometimes people like to use the word control with emotions, and I do not like that because it's not really realistic to think that we control our emotions. However, we also don't want to just give our emotion full reign and just, I'm mad, so now I'm just going to be crazy. That is also not a good choice. There's some middle ground. And the way I like to talk about it is working with emotions. Emotions arise, things happen, and then there's an emotion that's present. Here's my anger. Here's my frustration. Here's my sadness. How am I going to work with what's really arising? And this is the mindfulness piece. Working with what's happening right now. Noticing what's happening right now. Right now, I am frustrated or I am angry. Because sometimes when people have strong emotions and they don't know how to handle them, they can either act out, or sometimes there's like a pretending thing happening. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I've had students with tears coming down their face saying, I'm not crying. It really opens my heart. I understand that impulse to not want to really own our emotions sometimes, but if I can see tears streaming down your face, then you are in fact crying. So we want to be able to work with our emotions in a very kind and gentle way. So we're going to do an exercise about that. There's two different techniques I want to work with regarding how to work with our strong emotions. So what I want you to do, find a nice little seat posture that feels good. I want you to remember a time that you had a strong emotion. Let's pick anger, something that made you angry. Did somebody say something kind of mean to you? Did somebody hit you? What caused the anger? Did something break and you didn't want it to break? Something didn't go your way? Can you feel that anger in your body? What does anger feel like in the body? A lot of times it feels like heat. I can actually feel that I feel a little hot right now. Or it can feel like tightness or constriction. Our forehead gets kind of tight. Our mouth gets kind of tense. Our jaw, our eyes get kind of clenched. Now I want you to picture that your anger is actually sitting beside you like a good friend. Or if they're a really good friend, you could have them sit in your lap if it would fit. Is your anger big? Or is it small? Or is it medium-sized? Think about that. Some things in life make our anger very big. We can have a huge amount of anger. And sometimes we just have a little bit of just annoyance, right? Think about what size your anger is right now. It can sit beside you. It can sit in your lap. And now I want you to bring a sense of kindness to your anger and say, hello, anger. I see you there. I see you. I see my anger. I see you. So we're not trying to push it away. We're not pretending. We're not angry. That's not mindful. We're not just acting out on it and being crazy. That is also not being mindful. But we are sitting with it. We're working with it. What do you need from me right now, my anger? That's a question you can think of. Do you need me to take a few mindful breaths? Do you need me to acknowledge, yeah, that thing that happened, I didn't like that either. I understand why you were angry. Bringing a compassion, kindness to your anger, really it's a good tactic, a good way to work with your anger. And maybe as you're talking to your anger, you're working with it. It might have been pretty big. Is it getting a little smaller? Do you feel it kind of calming down? Your anger might even melt in to being kindness. Your anger might say, thank you. Thank you for sitting with me. I appreciate that. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for acknowledging that that thing that happened kind of wasn't cool. I appreciate that. And that way maybe your anger can soften a little bit. Give me a thumbs up if you notice there's some shifting. Part of the emotion and the movement is it can shift. Our emotions get stuck when we don't want to deal with them. That's when they get stuck and they kind of grow and they get crazier and crazier. Often when we're willing to work with our emotions, we can see they actually can change kind of easily. They can kind of shape shift. Do you know about shapeshifters? They're kind of cool. We'll talk about that in another lesson. Another thing that neuroscientists, our scientists who study the brain, have discovered is that labeling our anger is helpful. So in that way, we're kind of doing that when we say, I see you, my anger. I see you, my frustration. We're labeling it. What happens, neuroscientists have shown, is that when you're just angry, the amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze, is what's lit up in the brain. When you say, I know I'm angry, I see my anger, guess what comes online? The PFC, that smartest part of the brain. The labeling of an emotion brings the PFC, hello PFC, back online so that we can make better choices. Pretty cool. The last thing I want to say about anger is that anger can be a good friend to us. Sometimes things happen that are not all right. Maybe somebody hits you. It's very normal you would get angry about that. Maybe somebody says something very mean to you. That's not okay either. Our anger is there as a warning bell. It's telling us something's not right, something's not okay. And it's really good that we have that. So in that way, when we befriend our anger, when we work with it, we can also take what's useful about it to let us know that something is not okay, to help us to protect ourselves, to help us to take a good action. And so one good action is to say to that person who hit you, you just hit me, that's not okay. You just said something very mean to me, I didn't like that. And you can try to talk it out with them, or you could just go get help. Go to a trusted adult, go to a parent, go to a teacher, and ask for some help if something's happening that shouldn't be happening. But I think it's really important that we just don't try to make our anger wrong. We're not trying to get rid of our anger. We're trying to understand it. We're trying to work with it. We're trying to be kind with it, and we're also learning from it. We're learning what it has to teach us because it has something to teach us. Every emotion has something to teach us. So in that way, we're learning through our emotions. It's great to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you over at the piano. Hi everyone, here we are at the piano, continuing our conversation on emotions. So music is very tied to emotions. Have you ever heard a happy song and then suddenly you felt happier? Give me a thumbs up. Have you ever heard a sad song and suddenly you felt a little sadder? Yeah, music can really affect our emotions, and I think that's one of the things as humans we love about it. We love being able to feel our emotions deeper, to hear the perfect song that captures a certain kind of happiness or a certain kind of bittersweetness. One thing we didn't talk about in the emotions lesson is how emotions are very complex. They're not just happy, sad. There's all kinds of shades of happy, sad together. And sometimes we use the word bittersweet for a moment that's happy, sad. A happy, sad moment or a bittersweet moment might be the end of school. On one level, you're ready to go to the summer, but on another level, you'll miss seeing your friends or your teacher every day. Maybe you're graduating from high school, and so you're happy you made it to the end, and you're gonna go to college, hopefully, or go study more, and that's a happy moment. But then it's a little bittersweet because there you are, leaving the school that you've been coming to for many, many years with the friends you've been together with for many years. So there's a lot in life that's actually happy, sad. That's actually one of my favorite areas of exploration, but we'll talk about that some other day. So today, when we think about music and emotions, one of the ways that we most strongly sense emotion in music is about the key or the mode a song is in. So there's 8 different modes, musical modes, that go back to ancient Greece, like Pythagoras and the musical scale, right? But often in modern music, we kind of hear a lot of either what we call major or minor. And sometimes people say major sounds happy. And minor sounds kind of sad. But that's a little simplified, right? Because I like to think about them as rainy day or sunny day. Sometimes you want a rainy day. It's so cozy, the rain is falling, you're just having some yummy cookies with some milk and watching a favorite show or reading a lovely book. And some days you want it to be sunny, you want to be running outside and playing. So there's a place for all of that in our life. So I like to think of our major keys as a sunny day. And our minor keys as rainy day. So I'm going to play a few musical improvisations. So I'm just improvising. I'm just playing some simple things, right? And you tell me, does this sound like sunny day or rainy day? So we're working on our listening and our noticing, right? This is another key part of mindfulness. Stay focused with me, see what you notice. Does this seem like rainy day or sunny day? If you said rainy day, you were correct. Let me play the same thing. Kind of similar, but in that sunny key. try another one. Sunny day or rainy day? It was rainy day. I tend to like minor keys. It's true. What'd you think there? That was sunny day. How about this one? That was also sunny day. I was trying to balance out all the early rainy day keys I played. Okay, so sunny day, rainy day for major and minor. Now there are other modes. For instance, one of my favorites is Lydian, where you can, it feels like, let me play it for you. That note doesn't totally sound like it fits into our normal ear, what we normally hear, and that's what makes it Lydian. But often it's played with like a hero walks into the room. It's a really nice one. Can you hear how something kind of just changed, something special just happened? That's another one of my favorite modes. But I could do that all day. I probably shouldn't. Let's move on to our songs. So I figured we'd learn two simple songs, one in major and one in a minor key. Let's start with our minor key song. It's actually in Dorian, which is not, it sounds kind of minor to our ear, but it's a little bit different. It's actually in another one of our 8 modes. This song is called Scarborough Fair. It comes from England, and there's some really famous and wonderful versions of this folk song, another folk song. My favorite version is Simon and Garfunkel, so look that up. That's part of your music challenge. I'm giving it to you already right now. And they sing with beautiful harmony on this song. So let me say the words, and again, they'll have them there for you in the PDF. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? To Scarborough Fair. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine. He once was a true love of mine. So you can change the gender, he or she once was a true love of mine, whatever fits for you. So it's a little bit of a sad song, this person who they love someone and then obviously something happened and they're not together. When it says, remember me to one who lives there, that means tell them that you know me, remind them of me. Say, oh, I know Megan. Do you know her? She was a music teacher and she said she's your good friend. Okay, so you're reminding them of this person who they used to know. So let me sing a little bit for you of it. So let me sing Scarborough Fair for you. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Can you already tell it has that rainy day feeling? Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine. Let's just try that together. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine. So you can kind of feel that longing for that person that the singer has. You can feel the bittersweetness of it that we were just talking about, right? The parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, back in that time when this song was created, the fairs is where you would go and you would buy vegetables, you might buy herbs. So in that way, it's kind of like our modern day farmer's market. So it's kind of nice songwriting, just parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. It has a really nice rhythm to it. But I think it also kind of harkens back to those early farmers markets or those early fairs where there'd be actors putting on a play, there'd be musicians singing, and there'd be food for sale, and there'd also be herbs and maybe vegetables you could buy, whatever was in season. So the sunny day song that I have for you, or the major key song, is "You Are My Sunshine," which is such a happy song. I can't think of really a happier song than that. You probably know it. Go ahead and sing it with me. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. One more time. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. So you probably know that one, but it's a great one to be singing and to connect to our positive emotions. And also sing this song sometime this week to someone who you feel like they're your sunshine, someone that you're so happy to see. Whenever you see them, you feel so happy. So your music challenge is to listen to the Simon and Garfunkel version of Scarborough Fair, and other versions as well. There's a lot of great ones out there. To sing "You Are My Sunshine," maybe find some cool versions of that you like. There is actually a wonderful Neapolitan song called "O Sole Mio," which is basically saying the exact same thing. You are my sunshine. O sole mio, stana fronda te. I don't remember the rest of the words, but you should look it up. So look up "O Sole Mio," and one of the best versions of it ever is by Luciano Pavarotti, a very famous opera singer, one of the greatest opera singers of the last century, a tenor. So look up "O Sole Mio," sung by Luciano Pavarotti. It's a Neapolitan song in the Neapolitan language, which sounds very similar to Italian, to an untrained ear, but if you speak Italian, then you recognize that Neapolitan is a different language. Back in the day, a long time ago, Italy had different regions and different languages were spoken, and Neapolitan was one of the languages that was spoken in Italy until Italian became the unifying language throughout the entire country. So that's a little history on our Neapolitan language. So listening to songs, could you make a playlist of your favorite sunny day songs and maybe a playlist of your favorite rainy day songs? Or you can mix them all together. To be honest, a good playlist would have like a balance of sunny day songs and rainy day songs, and a couple sunny day songs in a row, and then a rainy day song would sound so awesome next to it. So when you're listening to songs and music this week as well, could you notice, does this seem like a sunny day major key or a rainy day minor key? And know that there are some other modes as well, like our Lydian mode, where it might not just fall into major or minor. And often composers, songwriters like to change. They start out in a sunny day key, then the bridge goes into a rainy day key, and then it comes back to a sunny day key. This is part of the beautiful way that emotions move and change and shapeshift, which is something I spoke about in the earlier part of the lesson. All right, my dears, it's so wonderful to spend some time with you. I look forward to seeing you in a future lesson. Have a beautiful day.